Good evening, folks. It is yet another Monday, CFN Live. It's going to be the same format as last week. Unfortunately, we are minus Lawrence this evening, but we've got Big Jim and we've got Jay Barnucz with us. We have a few things we want to discuss, a few things we want to talk about, and there are some questions that I can't wait to ask the panel to find out what their answer is. Hope everybody's doing well. Again, this is only be an hour show simply because we want to cheer on the Jays. We want to get you guys to the game as quick as possible. So with that, let me introduce our two highly touted, well-decorated, and prestigious panel members. We got Big Jim McLaughlin and, of course, Jason Barnucz. Welcome, lads. How we doing tonight?
Doing great. What's up, guys?
Right on. With the weather turning the way it is, Jay, and of course, we're going to be talking about a lot of things tonight in regards to the future of fishing. But there's a lot of rain coming this week. So for those who are looking forward to yet a big run, another run, or maybe just their first run, this weekend might be their ticket.
Yeah, we're still suffering from some low water, Scotty.
Yeah.
And but it's turning around. It's turning around slowly. We're slowly getting back up to where we should be for water level. Now, that's in the rivers. The lakes themselves, that's a whole other animal. And I'm still getting reports of a lot of low water locally. But that fall season, man, the cold weather is great. Like this, I had frost this morning. Like the bananas are falling off the trees down here, man. So it's I think this is, I'm not saying an early frost, but it's definitely like usually we aren't seeing frost until November, and we had a heavy frost here this morning, so that's great to see. So the seasons are changing; everything's cooled right off, which is cool.
Amen.
So let's hope those bananas don't get washed into the creeks. The salmon won't come up.
That's what I know. Jeff, I know. The poor banana farmers down here, they're hurting.
Did you see John Anderson's muskie guiding? He's 11 of 12 days.
Wow. No.
On the muskies with each guy has to bring 3 bananas with him when he comes in the boat.
Oh, geez.
So in these 11 to 12 days, they've caught 30 muskies now in those 12 days.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. They had one guy, he didn't get one all day. They fished all day, but it was one of those horrible cold front days.
Yeah.
Where it's not even cold out, but you're cold. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and he's out there and they didn't catch anything. They had 3 or 4 follows and they're going back in. And was he trying to post something on Facebook? Yeah, he posted about having eventually we had a day without a fish in the boat with a banana. While he's doing it, the guy hooks one. And then when they got back to the dock, before they got the trailer down, he hooks another one up beside the boat launch. So he ends up catching 2, but they came after dark, which is common when you have a big cold front like that. So I thought it was so funny.
That is funny. Wow.
Yeah. And Fisherman did a thing on it, the Angling Buzz.
Yeah.
They did a thing. They had some pictures of guys in boats, up to their elbows in bananas and doing one of the best. That Aaron Weeb there, he did a thing where they went and got the bananas in Kenora there. They bought every banana in the grocery store.
Well, that was just ridiculous. The whole boat. And the funny thing is, in the video, they don't even talk about the bananas.
No, they never talked about them the whole time. And they must have hawked out 30 walleyes that day and a whole bunch of 6-8 pounders and one after the other. It was the best day walleye fishing, he said, that he ever filmed.
That's hilarious. What are the chances?
200, I think it was 212 bananas, he said, in the boat.
Jeez. Speaking of bananas, and I don't mean any disrespect, but Jim, this fish in particular has some significance, and Jay was trying to do his best to do some research on it. All I saw and heard was stratic. So right away, I wanted to find out a little bit more, and there is a pending world record with this fish.
Nowy rekord świata, 292 cm na ten kijek od Shimano Strabic Seabass, mistrzostwo świata. Paweł, dzięki wielkie i patrzcie na tą rybę. Co to za łeb? Gigantyczna, jakie płetwy.
Rekord należy do
Polskiej Akademii Wędkarskiej.
Brawo.
Super.
So again, don't know exactly what they're saying, but Jay, you're going to give us a little bit of background on what the significance is of that fish.
Yeah, so this was posted on Wired to Fish, and most of us follow their media is about the best out there, right up there within fishermen. And so this fish was caught in Poland, and it apparently, now we're talking metric here. So Jim, I don't want to irritate you, but we're talking centimeters. Everything sounds bigger in centimeters anyway, so we'll just talk centimeters. But
warming it up.
That's right. So this fish was 292 centimeters or 9.6 feet, and it beats the old record by just a few centimeters. The old one was 285 from Italy, and this was from Poland. So Wells catfish are interesting because they're not native to some of these places, but they've been introduced across Europe. And I didn't realize there was a sport fishery in Poland for them. I knew Italy, Portugal, and Spain has them. And in that milder, that warmer climate, they do well. But this was in Poland. So it's under review by the International Game Fish Association as a record, though, because apparently it seems like they took turns fighting this
Nowy
fish.
rekord
But you can
świata,
imagine at
292
9.6
cm.
feet, that's a big fish. I'm not sure how much that would weigh, but that's a huge fish to reel in by yourself, I guess. But anyways, on a spinning rod of all things, holy smokes.
Right. And that is probably one of the most basic swim baits that he's using there. That'd be something that you would go after toothy critters, in our waters. But
largemouths even in the States,
yeah, that's right.
Just
so
nothing
cool.
fancy. It just got the job done.
I reeled in a shark when we fished in Cuba years ago. That was about 12 feet long. And I was like 25 or something. And I was done. Like my back was quivering. My forearms were just shaking. And it took like, I think it was like 40 minutes or something. And I was done.
Well, I'm gonna share a picture, Scott. I got my screen sharing here. I have to just give a shout out here to a local angler. Some of you might know this angler. We'll see if you recognize her. So this is Terry Clark, country music singer Terry Clark.
Whoa. No way.
Yeah. So Terry's from Alberta, Canadian girl, right?
Yeah.
From Alberta. She's got a cottage down here near Long Point. And she's often fishing all the time. She puts a lot of fishing content up. And I was not much of a country music fan until I realized Terry Clark was such big into fishing. And she's on tour right now with Paul Brandt, another Canadian artist. And they took a day off to go muskie fishing with the local charter captain, Jim Carroll. And this was yesterday, somewhere locally here off of Long Point somewhere, 48-inch muskie. So congrats to Terry Clark. What a fish. Yeah. So, and not only is I love the fact that she fishes, but this is Heather's favorite music star. So Heather's like, I want to go fishing with Terry Clark. So she's all gunged up. And every time I show her a picture of Terry catching these, and she's always catching big largemouth, big muskies. So shout out to Terry Clark and just sharing the fishing love, man. Need more of that.
Awesome. Absolutely.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. Couple things that I wanted to talk to you, Jay, about. There are some new baits that are coming out from Berkeley. Jim and I mentioned this bait, but of course, I'm going to get your take on it. But I will say this. This new bait here, I love how it focuses not only on size, but the amount of scent that it's going to be able to send out in the water column.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a bit of a twist on some of the new gilly baits that have been coming out. And you've seen them that have come out that sort of shape, but instead of little ribs, it has this honeycomb design. And it's really been developed to help disperse more scent in the water with that honeycomb design, but just by giving the bait more surface area. And it's a cool little bait. I haven't had a chance to tinker with it. I've been talking to some of the guys in the US who were developing it and trying it out. And apparently, and if you watch some of the videos online about it, it just has some really cool action to it. And you can fish it Texas rigged. A lot of guys are fishing it as a Nico rig or as a wacky rig right there. So yeah, we're going to see how it goes, but I think it's a cool little bait. And again, it's just a twist on another bait and I think this one's really unique to Berkeley. And I think it's going to do well, I think.
It's the shape of it too, eh?
Yeah.
It looks like it's really funny. I brought all my stuff in out of the truck that I have down back. I just brought them out. The boxes are all sitting here. And this was right on the top out there. And that's like one of the shapes, one of the things that I've, that's Mike the Bullsey stuff. But that's
right.
One of the shapes, and not just fishing at Texas rig or something, but Mike even made a special jig head for it that fits it perfect.
Yeah.
And you can see the little wire. It's got a single strand, weed guard on it. So you can fish it like that because that's got the perfect shape, just as does that one. But I think that one's like so versatile. Like I'll put it to you this way: that thing that caught my eye that I sent Chris a message and asked him for some.
Yeah.
Like it just caught my eye.
Yeah.
It was what you could when I saw the first ads of it.
Yeah.
There was just so many things that you could do with it. And
yeah, I think it's a pretty innovative little bait. I'm curious to see how well it does. Yeah. Agreed.
Now, is it out on the market right now, Jay? Is it available?
Yeah, you can get them now. Like they're on Tackle Warehouse, and actually, I got forwarded a message from Tackle Depot. Ben and the guys out at Tackle Depot, they got some of them in stock. There's two different sizes. There's like a 3-inch and a 5-inch, and they only have the one size in stock in some limited colors. But what's been going on with Berkley is they're trying, instead of just doing stuff around ICAST, which they don't actually do ICAST anymore, but they're trying to release baits through the year, and so it kind of spreads it out a little bit. So this is their big fall release, and they like doing releases around the Bassmaster Classic, and those are probably their two major release dates now. But they try to what's been the struggle is having enough stock in place when these new baits come out, and they don't have full stock yet, but they're trying to make sure that the dealers have these baits. And it was interesting. It was so well timed that they were able to get stock out even before I started seeing some of the ads. I saw some of these baits showing up on some of the dealers' websites, including Tackle Warehouse. So they've done a really good job, because we all know that when new stuff comes out, we all want it right away. And sometimes we're waiting 6 months for it or more. And they're really getting better at making sure that products are available to anglers when they get announced. Because with media now, we want things now. We see it, we want it, right? So I think that's pretty cool they've done that.
It is. And as that caught Jim's eye, this one caught mine. And as I said, I've been a big fan of some of the soft plastics that are coming out from Berkley lately, as well as Crush City. But this one really caught my attention, and I'm hoping you're going to be able to feed us a whole bunch of cool information on this one.
We just got talking, what's new, and obviously forward-facing is taking over, jig head and the minnow. I mean, it's like we're fishing in the 50s again, right? We said, okay, what can we do, and how do we enhance that? So we basically took one and then said, why don't we have multiple presentations on this rig? There's nothing else out there like it.
The idea was to take bait ball presentations that's very popular with forward-facing sonar, make it finesse, and keep the minnow strolling, mid-strolling action to the bait.
Look at them all schooling on it. Look at them all. They literally can't help but come look at it.
The way a fish likes to get through life, they want as much food with the least amount of energy. It's that simple. And if you think about prey fish, they school together thinking they're safer. And so when a predator sees a school of fish come up, that looks real to them. And that's where this bait's gonna shine. It provides a way better tool when strolling, and they're gonna crash it more often than just a single plain Jane rig.
Now, it's interesting that Steve says what he said, because this is where I kind of thought, all right, we've seen something like this before with the umbrella rig.
Yeah.
What is the difference between this as a presentation and the umbrella rig, Jay?
So I'm going to share my screen so I can kind of show you a little bit here. So this is so what Berkley's tried to do is they've really tried to come up with a means of, now see if I can zoom this in here. There we go. So what this is it is similar to an umbrella rig. And what they have is they have 3 minnows on this, basically on this fluorocarbon harness. And you can see here that you have two screw lock points to it. So the other 2 minnows are kind of decoys. Okay. And then you have the main one on the jig head. And the idea is that with an umbrella rig, if anyone's throwing an umbrella rig, you need to throw it on heavy gear. So you have wire. Like even if you go with a 16th ounce weight for each jig head, you have 5 jig heads. Like it doesn't take long before you're up over an ounce. A lot of umbrella rigs I've thrown, you're looking at 2, 3, 4 ounces. I'm using 8-foot heavy rods or like basically medium action musky rods to throw these things. Now, because of the way they've designed this with fluorocarbon and the other features, basically you could throw it on a spinning rod. And I think a medium heavy or even a medium spinning rod is going to be able to handle this. And so it's really targeted at those forward-facing sonar applications. And I think Mark Sexton puts it right, where he's one of the leading researchers at Berkeley, and he explains it well. Where we all see minnows usually in a small group, and especially when you see a small group of minnows and they're darting in the same directions. And I think that's what this is really going to hit home. It's going to get those reaction bites for those small schools of bait fish. It's just it's a different look. It's a different look for that application.
Makes sense. Jim, you ever seen anything like that?
Well, yeah, there was one they had out of Japan years ago that was just a U, and you had a split ring, or not a split ring, you had a clevis, like a piece of fluorocarbon about probably, I don't know, 10 inches long, and they had 2 little things pinched to it, and a clevis, and you attached your line to the clevis, so you just had the 2. So they've just perfected whatever that was, because it was pretty hard to fish. I've played with it out there, and they've obviously gone and spent a lot of time, mucking around with it, and it comes out better.
Yeah, the main jig head I think is only going to be 3/8 of an ounce, or maybe. Well, they're saying here one's going to be 3/8, and then you can have a 1/4 ounce. So you can vary the size of that jig head. Then the 2 decoys are just going to be small baits that you're going to have on
the
there.
piece that was hanging down there when they showed it.
Yeah,
further back, that's what the thing from Japan was that I saw years ago.
Right. Yep, I remember that too.
Yeah. It'd be like you take the middle one out and leave one top, one bottom. Yeah, exactly.
I love that action. This action that they show here in the video. The way he's twitching this, it just, oh my Lord, this is what caught my eye. I mean, obviously we've seen these kind of rigs to a certain degree, but that action right there, oh, that's killer.
And I think even getting away, and we've talked about this on this show before, like some of these forward-facing sonar specific baits, this bait's just not for that. If you put a small paddle tail swim baits on there, you got a great little finesse umbrella rig that you can throw on a spinning rod if you want to, especially for anglers fishing from shore, make those long casts. I think it's going to be a great little tool. It's going to be cool.
I agree.
Yeah, I've got more walleyes on them than I have bass.
Oh, really?
Cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. And
right.
Trying to catch them, incidental.
Yeah.
So they have a real. When a walleye looks at that, he puts on the bib and gets the knife and fork.
Oh yeah,
there's something special to it about him.
Amen. Yeah. I mean, as soon as I saw that, sorry, no offense to you bass anglers, but I immediately thought walleye. Like that is going to be a killer bait for walleye.
Yeah,
love that. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we don't have Lawrence here today to find out his answers. But Jay, you put together some really cool questions that I think are very apropos to everything that's going on in the world and where we are in terms of the season changes and what have you. But I find this to be a very interesting question, and I'll get Jim to answer this first. Jim, what's one underrated species anglers should target more in the month of October?
Pike.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No seconding. It just, I have a real affliction for pike.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get the opportunity to do it. It's like people go pike fishing and they catch a whole bunch of 3-pounders. That, to me, that's not pike fishing. Pike fishing is when you're fishing sometimes 20, 30 feet of water. You're fishing really deep, big rocky points at the mouths of spawning coves. You got to be very precise in what you're doing. And another thing, I spent time. Hang on for a second. I'll show you something real neat. Give me 10 seconds.
No worry. And Kevin, you would know a thing or two about toothy critters. That was an incredible pike that you caught just recently. We'll definitely get that up on CFN, but well done and congratulations on that big fish, bud. Jay, while Jim's getting that, what is a species of fish that you think we should be targeting more in the month of October?
You know what? I think now that as I said in my opening piece there, like now that we've got frost, like down where I am,
yeah,
and so the water temps are getting down into that 50-degree range, and even in small marshes and stuff where we're not going to see actually a turnover because they're not deep enough, but things are starting to feed up. There's two things that I'm going to target this fall, and I'd like to is crappie.
Yeah.
Crappie for one. And I know that there's talking with some of the and this is something I haven't done. This is like, I haven't targeted crappie in the fall before, but I know people that do. And it's something that I want to try this fall. And I got some good areas. And I think these are areas where I catch them in the winter. And I'm hoping I can get them there as they're staging, because I think they move in now and then they winter in these areas. So I want to try that. And the other one is I want to talk to my buddy Jay Pearson, try and get him some channel catfish.
Yes.
Some of the biggest channel catfish are caught in the fall, not just in the spring. And I think this is going to be the year I'm going to hook up with some of those. Maybe the Raytrowskis and the Pearsons will take pity on me and take me channel catfishing in the fall, because I've never done it, and I want to try it. So yeah,
there is a picture that's making its rounds right now of a blue catfish that a gentleman caught down in the States, and I'm not exactly sure what river it was in, but the thing's as big as he is. Like, it's absolutely enormous.
Yeah, there was a record blue cat caught. I want to say it was South Dakota this week, and I think that they think it's a state. That's like 96 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Crazy.
Unreal. Go ahead, Jim. You were going to feed us.
I thought I had the book there. I don't know where it got to. Somebody probably borrowed it and didn't bring it back, but it was, Jay, what was that guy's name from Europe? Was it Jan Akers?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Remember the in fisherman did? The guy caught 25 to 30 pound pike out of lakes beside big towns in Europe. Like he had it pegged. Well, the guys from the in fisherman spend a lot of time over there in these big reservoirs and shit. And they showed, that's why they used to go to South Dakota. They all weekend long they'd catch 20-pound pike.
Yeah,
like there was schools of them and nobody bothered them. So, and it was the same on the big Rito years ago. You used to be able to get these great big pike. A lot of times I'd have pictures of me, like holding like an 18 or a 20 or a 21-pound northern if you had a really good fall. And people would say, "Oh, you went up north again, eh?" No, I drove to Smith Falls. Like it was like once you learn how to catch them. And when I hear a lot of people marking crappie here, it's the thing. That's where you talk to Brosdahl about that, and he just tells you find the deepest part of the basin. You put your back to the steepest part of the weeds that you can find with the best deep water access.
Yeah,
and you fish there, and that's where they are. You go to the big Rito right now. I know 2 or 3 spots out there where I've driven by a couple of times close, and I can see the one spot. And there's guys that I know, and they're sitting there, and I call them, "Hey, get off my crappie spot." And one guy one day when I'm driving by, he knew where I was to see him, and he ducks down in the boat while I'm driving by.
Oh, geez.
I'm not out there, and I see him duck down in the boat like there's nobody there, right?
That's good.
I always tell him, "Don't worry about it. I haven't been there in years," but he's there now. And in the wintertime, the crappies are, I don't know, how far can you throw a baseball? That's where they are for winter.
Yeah, you don't have to go far.
I will say too, Trevor was saying about carp, fall carp. I would agree. Like, this time of year for carp is probably the most conducive, because if you get cold, you just jump in the truck and warm up. You're listening for the bell or the whistle or whatever alarm system that's on your presentation anyway. So really, this is actually it's a great point you're making, Trevor. That and it's an overlooked fish. It's an overlooked fishery. I think we take it for granted here in Ontario. I know in some other provinces they're a little more sought after. But here in Ontario, it's an overlooked fish, and it's something that we definitely need to do. Yeah, we need more content.
I mean, look what Shimano did years ago, trying to get the public, into carp fishing. They spent a fortune. They brought out all the specialized tackle. They had everything you needed. They had Len Purdick and a couple of other guys showing people how to do it. They held big things that. At the time, what's that place? I've never been to it. There's a place in Hamilton Harbor where there's a cement dock that's about a mile long. Yeah, I've never been there. But I mean, Len Purdick showed me, it was a guy with him there, and the guy's holding a 54-pound carp.
Yeah.
fat a 54-pound carp is.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like about this long, and they're out of the picture up and down. They're absolutely huge. And they were catching all these fish. They had things at the sportsman show, and every time I go into Shimano and Peterborough, they have that replica that Advance did for them that they had on the thing with the carp with a couple of weeds beside it and whatever. And it sits up on top of one of Charles's cabinets now. And like you go to the carp spots now, and it's not all worn away on the shore. It's back to being grass. The bush grew back where everybody used to hold to go down the couple of steps over here on the St. Lawrence and things like that. Like it got a big revival and just it teeters off. It's really funny. It just doesn't seem to hold the respect. And it was guys posting today from that dock. That's what made me think of this when I started talking about it. They're on the Great Big Cement dock. They had 20 pounders, 25 pounders.
Yeah.
Who caught a 25-pound fish today? Well, he did.
Yeah.
Not this guy.
Yeah.
Jay, I'm not sure if you want to address this question now in regards to what is being asked here. Can you explain about the expansion of muskie on Lake Erie out of Long Point?
Yeah, good question, Chris. I've known Chris a long time. So to be honest, no one really knows, Chris. And I think that what's happening right now is there's some work going into studying this sort of phenomena that's happening around Long Point. And there's been muskies, more and more muskies being caught in that sort of Long Point Bay, but I'm going to call it the central basin of Lake Erie, right? Because we know they're in the eastern basin, Niagara River, mouth of the Grand even. And then we know that they've been caught in the Detroit River regularly, like Lake St. Clair, Detroit River, and then the western basin, even as far as Rondo Bay, they've been caught. But the central basin, there hasn't been a lot of muskies observed. And then Long Point, seems to be, it's almost like the two populations are converging. And not just large specimens like the one Terry was holding up, but I've seen lots of small ones caught through the ice in the wintertime while guys are fishing for pike. So there's reproduction happening, or seems to be. It's not surprising though. Like Long Point is one of the biggest wetlands in the Great Lakes. Like it's massive. Like the point itself is 30 kilometers long, and it's just littered with wetlands. That's great spawning habitat for pike, largemouth, panfish. And so muskies, you think muskies would utilize that as well. I'm not sure why it's taken them so long to become established, and they seem to be like becoming more and more prominent. And if you go down to, you just look at some of the guys coming down here now, there's guys making the trek down here to try and sort of figure them out. And I don't know if it seems to be like a small window. I'm not really following it too closely, but I know Muskies Canada has been down here doing some work. And I was talking with a couple of buddies who said they've been doing M&R's been working with Muskies Canada to do some tagging. Like we've seen the tagging going on Lake St. Clair, for example, and apparently some of the same tagging work's going on in sort of that central basin part of Lake Erie, but centered out of that sort of Long Point area. So we'll see what it comes out. But Chris, I think that the muskies are here to stay, and I think we could have a new fishery happening right here locally. So that's cool.
It is cool.
What's that big harbor on the American side? Is it around Buffalo or something that was absolutely famous for muskies for a few years there?
Yeah, Buffalo Harbor is well known for muskies, Jim.
Yeah,
it's a huge area. Yeah,
I was talking to a bunch of guys the other day, and apparently for some reason it's almost falling off their list. It just doesn't seem to happen the same way it used to. Every once in a while, somebody catches a 45-pounder, and everybody rolls back over there and fishes for a weekend, and apparently it's just. I wonder if that's got something to do with it.
Maybe.
But they moved. They found a better place.
That could be. Like there's not a lot of habitat, like spawning habitat for them in the Niagara River, but there's a lot of food there. But we also know that from the tagging studies that they move a lot, and so because they're such a large predator, like they're not just going to stay in one area. They're going to move to where the food is, and we've seen records of huge muskies like basically traveling most of Lake Erie. I saw an example of one study where they tagged the fish in like Lake St. Clair, and it went like down into Erie, around the western basin, up to like Buffalo, and then back to Lake St. Clair like the next year. So they move around a ton, and that's what we're learning with some of these tagging studies is we think about everything as like local, like we think about Niagara, upper Niagara River, let's say, or lower Niagara River. but we catch a big fish there, like a big muskie, and that fish is probably not there all the time. It seems to be seasonal, but what's driving that seasonal choice to go to that spot, we don't know. But we know that these big predators, and not just muskies, but we know the walleye do it, we know the lake trout do it, and they make these giant movements, and we want to know why. But what's important is we have to manage the fishery like the same. So the way we manage muskie in Lake St. Clair should be the same as we manage in Lake Erie or Lake Huron, because they're all the same population. They're all using the same areas, right? So
Great point. That is a great.
Remember, Mark Thorpe had a study when they did that big thing on the Lower Ottawa.
Yeah.
There was a muskie that lived just past Montebello on this big point.
Oh yeah.
Through identification, you may have heard about this fish. It was famous, eh? And Mark had caught it, I think, 3 or 4 times over the years, and it was easily identifiable by scars and marks. And it had a big cyst or something on its tail.
Yep.
It was just a thing that was there. Everybody's got a bump on them that is there or whatever, And
Yeah.
So it was like really easy to identify. And when they got the tag in this fish, the thing for the, like for the telemetry,
Yep.
it would swim up the Ottawa River, up the Quebec side. It would cross between the islands halfway down there by Montebello. And then it would swim up the Ottawa side. It would swim past Rockland or Orleans, and it would get up to Ottawa. And just what would be southeast of Ottawa, there's the old army base outside Ottawa there. They had a big boat launch. That fish would live there for a day or two, and 2 days later they'd go out and they'd start on the big point to go look for it. It wasn't there. They get halfway up the river and they think they have it, they don't. They think they have it, they don't, and they follow it, and it'd be going back down the river. And then in the afternoon they go back. Guess who's sitting on their point?
Wow.
Right back there, and that fish would go. That fish would make that trek common.
Yeah. See, and I thought muskie were always territorial. They basically inhabit an area that they consider they call their own. And with that telemetry study that you saw and you mentioned, Jay, I had no idea muskie migrate that much.
I don't think any fish are really territorial.
There you go.
No.
They move around. You might have a little brook with a trout hiding behind a boulder, and it's a great spot, and he lives there. But territorial, you think, is something that's out to defend its territory, and that kind of. That's I don't. But how do you feel about that, Jay, from a biology standpoint?
About them being territorial?
Yeah, like, are they just there because there's lots of food and safety and they can spawn?
I think so. I think, but it's funny because you can have 10 fish, and I've seen studies with bass do this. You can have 10 largemouth in a bay, let's say a tournament release, for example, and they'll do 10 different things. Like, some of them will wander out, some of them will wander for days, and some will just stay right put. They're fine, they're healthy. In fact, some of them will start eating like right away. It's almost like fish are designed to like take advantage of what's best for me right now.
Yeah.
And for some of them, they want to move, and some of them are territorial. Like that I've heard that Montebello story before, and that fish just hangs out there all the time and for months on end, right? So, but there's going to be other muskies that are just going to choose to wander around, and who knows what makes them do it. But I think we're with technology now, we're seeing that happening, and how these fish just go incredible distances, right? And it's probably to find food, but what makes one fish travel the circumference of Lake Erie and one fish just sit on a point all summer? And they're both the same size fish, right? They have the same needs.
Yeah.
Well,
crazy.
look at Bruce Tuff's largemouth that they tagged in Belleville that came from what's the big bay on the bottom of the St. Lawrence there? Chippewa.
Chippewa, yeah.
Came from Chippewa in a tournament, was waiting in Belleville. Bruce Tuff's students put a tag in it. 2 or 3 years later, they have a guy come up with a fish. The guy calls Bruce over, and they take the wand thing to it, and they're looking it up, and the guy says, "I don't believe this," and they're in absolute like biologist awe that this fish is caught in Chippewa Harbor. How far would that be? Like an hour and a half ride, full tilt, more maybe?
Easily, yeah.
Easily. It's a long. The guy went there because he thought he had a chance to win 1, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe even more. They could catch 2 or 3 fish quick and bring them back and just weigh a fish every hour. Because at the time they had no rules about how many fish you could have in the boat.
That's right.
So they went over there, but they got this giant fish. So then this other guy comes in with that fish. They take the wand to it. It's the same fish. So they ask him, "Where did you catch this fish?" And they're expecting he's going to say, down by Trenton or something. He said,
Yeah.
I went to Chippewa Bay. So that fish swam from Belleville all back through the Bay of Quinte, past Kingston, down the St. Lawrence, and at some point crossed over, went back to Chippewa Bay, came back. I think it was a pound and a quarter heavier, 2 or 3 years later. Healthy, fat. I saw it with my own eyes. Healthy, beautiful, fat fish.
Wow.
And it went back in the water in Belleville. So where is it,
That's hilarious.
That's very
Did
cool.
it do that a second time, or did it just say, "Hey, all the fish in the Bay of Quinte are fat. I'm getting old. I'm just staying here."
Well, Kevin, you just summed up my fishing career. On Saturday, we saw muskie on live scope follow our baits for a solid 10 minutes from one side of the bay to the other side, and it took a few swipes at each of our baits, but didn't commit, but also didn't swim off for a long time as we trolled. It's interesting, too, when it comes to muskie, and I'd say this more so with muskie than any other species of fish, they do have a tendency to hang around. Like they're waiting for the next great thing. Like, what are you going to throw next? How are you going to make this appetizing for me to bite? You don't see them sort of shy away as quick as some other species of fish. So they are a unique fish.
The number of times I've had a fish that followed, try to get it for 4 or 5 minutes, and you see it, then you don't. You go around a few more times. You'll do some big figure 8s, get the rod down in the water, make a whole bunch of noise, and all of a sudden, here it is again, whatever. And then 4 or 5 minutes later, you're bringing in the lure, and it shoots out from underneath the boat and eats it.
Yeah,
it was there all the time underneath the boat. I'm sure. Now you never know what direction the fish comes from. He could be coming to head on with the lure, or from the side or the back or whatever. But I mean, when you see a fish that you think is maybe 40 inches, and 10 minutes later, one that's 40 inches shoots out from underneath the boat and hits your lure, I'm guaranteed he was hiding right underneath the boat. Yeah.
So true. Yeah. Great discussion, lads. Jay, the next question goes to you, and I love this question. When I actually read the 3, this one is the one that I love the most. So I'll get you to start. What is, in your opinion, the biggest challenge facing Canadian freshwater anglers this season?
Biggest challenge? Because to be honest, I didn't answer these questions when I sent them to you. I'm like, these are questions you should ask us, and I didn't put any. Actually, I was busy at work today. I didn't have any time to put thought into it. But this one, I think, I don't know. It's kind of hard putting my personal challenges ahead of what's facing Canadian anglers. But I think a big part of it is right now. I think a lot of it is it's this, man. It's money, and being able to do what we want to do, right? Yeah. So, and learning, and that, I think that I've had so many great conversations this year about kayak fishing, for example, and anglers being able to get out and enjoy, and we're talking about this season. Yeah, there's just Jim. Look at you. Look at the gangster. That's gangster. That's gangster, man.
But it's not a very big role. Tony, proud of.
Like this, that gift, Jim, where you're just doing like this.
Yeah.
That was a guy came to pay me for a rod of mine. He got divorced, and he had a rod of mine. And after 3 years, he came and he paid me for it.
Oh, geez.
Oh, hey, he finally paid, or someone paid.
He's got a memory. That's quite the memory on that lad.
I think a big part of it is that things are a little tight right now for people, and I think being able to still find what makes you happy when it comes to fishing. So, and I think a lot of us get too hung up looking at what's going on YouTube, and we want to do those things. And I think I really envy a lot of anglers. There's a few local guys that are fish freaks, and they fish constantly. And I'm like, how do they get to fish so much? And I think that it's just being able to get out, and people put money on it, like in terms of like, I gotta buy this and that. Just go fishing. And I think everything will just work out. And some of these guys, dude, they're poor as dirt, and they're fishing every single day, right? because they love the sport for what it is. And I think that's the biggest challenge, is putting the desire to have all these things behind. Like, do we need a new live scope? Do we need a new boat? Do we need a new truck? No, you don't. Dude, the guy I'm not going to name names, but there's a guy around here. He's got a rusty old pickup. I see him in town all the time. He's got stickers all over the back. And that guy is putting pictures up every day on Facebook of big browns and big steelhead every single day. And he's legit. And I want to follow him around, not to tell people where he's fishing. I envy him. And I know he knows me, and I'm not going to name names, but I know he loves what I do for work and this and that, but I am jealous of him for sure. Absolutely. So
that's hilarious.
Making the time to
get
go
in touch with me, I'll send him a bunch of stickers. I got my sticker box here at Deckles. I got piles of them.
You got a little tracker, like those little iPhone trackers in the sticker. We can find out where he's going. No, but in all seriousness, it's the anglers. The challenge we're facing is I think just getting out more. And don't worry about what it's going to cost you. It's not about money. It's just about time on the water. Just take what you got and go fishing.
Gary, I have to admit, it's been slow on my corner as well, so don't feel bad that your pocket is a little light. You're not the only one, my friend. Kevin, I appreciate this comment because, of course, we don't want it to be Ontario-based all the time. We love to talk about other areas that are having concerns. And, of course, water levels are an interesting debate that is discussed down here a lot. But we're obviously seeing more of an effect on water levels up where you are. It's well documented. But Kevin is mentioning that, of course, that is probably their biggest thing that's facing them in 2026 in the future is just they need more water.
Yeah, I think, water in lakes right now, it is bad everywhere. Like, there's no power loading down here right now because you will mud up your motor. And you're going to mud up your intakes. It's that bad. Like, it's.
Yeah, this is close to the lowest I've seen it in the 11 years I've been here. It might even be now because it's been another couple of weeks. But it's snuck down a little bit more. But remember the thing, Jay, did I send you the thing of Lake Erie about the change in depth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent it because I always talk about that. And it's one of my pet peeves. People telling me, oh, the water's down 7 feet on the Big Rito. No, the water's not down 7 feet because if it was down 7 feet, you couldn't use the locks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like things like that, eh? And I sent you that thing that showed that the water was 4 feet higher in the Eastern Basin. And then like the week after, it was 2 feet above at the western end.
Yeah.
Again, I went to pick up groceries this morning or yesterday morning in Kingston, and I often talk about the wind blowing from the north and the south, and it has a great effect on Lake Ontario in the Eastern Basin here. And I'm driving down the one morning and I'm looking at some rocks that I see and I go, holy shit, there's no rocks. They must have came and got them after 100 years. Well, we kind of see wind blowing for like 5-6 days straight.
Wow.
So Ottawa Lake Ontario has done this over to Lake Ontario.
Yeah.
This morning I went to get groceries again. Guess what?
It's
the Ontario side is there's a little bay right beside the bridge that crosses the 401, and it's mud, and you can see the creek coming through it. You know, the little line where it goes through. And yet a few days before, there was 2 feet of water in there, or maybe more. And that's what they don't realize.
These major sessions in the fall. So I think what's happened is, Jim, it's a good point. So I think in the fall, we're at low water. We're at low water now everywhere, and in the Great Lakes we get these sessions. But because we're even lower than normal, when these sessions happen, we notice them more because, like, let's say in your little bay there, let's say it's normally 4 feet deep. Let's say it's 4 feet deep normally. And then you get a sesh on a normal year, it drops to 2 feet. Well, you don't even see it, man. You still have water there. But this year, you're dropped 4 feet. So when sesh happens, the water's getting pulled right out of that bay. And all that's left is water down the middle. And in Lake Erie, we get this because it's so shallow. These sessions, they call it the bathtub effect. If you've ever gotten a tub, Jim, when you got to get in the tub on Friday nights, that one night a week.
And it overflows?
Yeah, when you overflow.
People downstairs running for their lives.
Yeah. So I know when Jim's fishing the Western Basin because the Eastern Basin gets a big push of water at the other end.
Remember
Oh,
once at the
geez.
sportsman show in Toronto, I almost did the unthinkable and fell in the tank.
Oh
And-
God.
Yeah, somebody left fishing line up on the top. They got a tangle,
Oh Jesus.
and it gave me a little whoopee. I've had that 2 or 3 times in my life, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost went in the tank, and I made the comment that if I would have fallen in the tank, could you see tomorrow morning on the front page of the Toronto Sun, it would have up like 6 die in tsunami at sportsman show. Like Ron James almost went out of control.
Yeah.
He had to walk away.
Yeah.
He couldn't talk. Every time he went to talk, he just started to laugh. And I said, well, he's off the line, so I'm going to take the questions, and I'm taking the questions from up on top.
That's hilarious.
But no, it was, oh my God.
Dude, that little platform, people don't realize how small that platform is up there. When you get up there, yeah, I'm scared of just falling in, never mind tripping over something up there. Like if I think there's no room for error up there. One misstep.
I jumped in once, and it was after the show was over. It was a bet, and the guys were down below, and I made them put their money on the table in front of them. They put the money on the table.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right on.
Cannonball, here we go. And it's not very big, eh? Like I was standing in the water. I was up to here, and I just clambered over the side, and they got up to make sure I got a grip because everything was wet,
Yeah.
It just slid down the side, eh? But no, it's up. And like there was another thing. Just before I mentioned that, I was going to get to. Remember a few years ago, all the people up in Georgian Bay there complaining about they couldn't get to their docks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that place grew up when the Ottawa or the water level was artificially high there for like decades.
Yeah.
From what it normally was.
Mm-hmm.
That's why today you see there's the backs of bays where there's just ring around them, and it's actually a little bit lower. But that's why all those docks that they had were like 30, 40 feet long, because the angle going to the water was only a few degrees. So if you drop the water 2 feet, you could have to walk out 30 feet to get where you were. It wasn't a huge drop, and people don't realize that. I remember reading a big thing that they had. I think it was Ontario Out of Doors did it. They sent one of the guys up there to investigate that, and they went and had a real good look at it. But I mean, it was showing, you could see where they had built stone like cribs to put the dock on, and all the cribs looked different because they were built at different times. As the water, came up, they had to move themselves back, and whatever, get it up.
And we have to admit too, with the the torrential downpours that we're getting, it's got to be a lot harder to manage our water levels. More so now than ever before.
Yeah,
because the extremes are just they're so extreme. Like I mean, this week we're supposed to be getting 50 mils of rain. Like, how do you manage that?
That's 4 inches of rain. Well, look at a few years ago, all the trouble they had out around Winnipeg and those massive floods.
Yep.
And now they're not talking about the water being high. Now they're talking about it being like really low.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things. And it's not that they had a bad winter. I think they had lots of snow there this year, did they not?
They did. Yeah, they did.
I think that's the reason why the St. Lawrence, which I mentioned last week, it had gone down a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gone down a little bit more. You can see there's another mark that's kind of dark on the poles. It's about an inch or two, maybe inch and a half, and it's dark because the algae above it's had time to dry out and just get crispy. The stuff down below now hasn't. You can see it, and I can line it up from where I sit in the parking lot. I can line it up on the. They had some stairs welded on the poles in case you happen to go for a dunk.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you can see when I line it up, you can see the mark is now below I think it's the third stair.
Mm-hmm.
Below it now, where the third stair in the morning when it was dead calm, the water was lapping on the top of that stair.
Mm-hmm.
It's like as far below it now in the last two to 3 weeks. So it's going down, but it's not affected by hydro dams there the way it is in other areas.
Right.
Or you go up like my daughter when she was living on the shores of the Ottawa there last year. I couldn't believe it. She'd send me a picture, and the kids would have to walk an extra 20 feet in the sand, and then the week after they'd be back to the cement pole. But like it was just, and that's just hydro. It's just up down it. They pull a lot of water and don't get rain, but it's just it's the way it works.
So Jim, outside of water levels and the cost of things, cost of living, is there anything else that you see challenging Canadian freshwater anglers this coming season?
I don't know. It's Now you say this coming season,
Yeah.
or what we're in right now.
Well, we're at the tail end, I guess, of this
Yeah.
season, getting into ice fishing, but going forward into the soft water season of next year.
I think everybody just has a little bit more just uncertainty in life.
Yeah, true enough.
You know, I read a thing that a guy wrote today about why we're. There's a guy on Facebook. I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning his name, but he put it there. He's on Facebook, and it's Cody. Like, Google it and go read the thing he read today.
Okay.
About how people are complaining they can't get by today. And I read it, and I sat in front of the doctor's office where I dropped Tammy off. I sat in absolute awe. And I read this 2 or 3 times, and I couldn't believe it. If anybody wants me, I'll take a picture of it. Just message me on Facebook. I'll send it to you. He hits if he wrote this, he should what is it to get for writing a Pulitzer Prize?
Yeah.
He should get one. I don't know what the criteria to get it is, but when you read it, oh my good Lord. It was like a knife in the head.
I will say I think we underestimate the number of folks out there that are struggling. I think we do because one, they're proud, and two, we're too busy trying to.
Well, my life is nowhere near as easy as it used to be.
Yeah,
I mean, part of that it came after COVID.
Yeah,
I took a real shot in COVID. A lot of the things I used to do and was paid well for don't happen anymore. I've had to back off on a lot of the stuff I do because I can't stand on a stage for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't MC events anymore. I used to do some summers, do 8, 10 of them, you know, and a lot of other things to do, a lot of them I can still do leaning on a stool or something, which we continue to do. But I mean, everybody's got a little, everybody's got a little bit of trouble there. And a lot of people just in the back of their mind, they might look at it and go that they got that $200 back today for that rod that the guy took on you never got back. Maybe in going and buying a new rod, I should put that on the credit card or in the bank. Eh?
Yeah, true enough.
Last
question, because we've only got a few minutes left before game time. So I will ask you, Jay, first. If you had one day to fish anywhere in Canada this fall, where are you going and why?
One day. Ooh, where am I going? If I had to fish one day in Canada this fall in Canada, God, Scotty, you're killing me. I would probably, I think I'd want to go to the Bay of Quinte, catch a big walleye. Haven't done that in a long time.
Likewise.
I might be able to make that happen.
Haven't done that in a long time.
Yeah,
So,
I would have to agree. It's been a while since I've been out on the bay.
I know a guy.
Yeah. But I will have to say right now, Jay, if there was anywhere that I would have anywhere at the top of my list, would definitely be the Bay of Quinte. And if we could haul out, a 30+ walleye, that would be that'd be a good day. That'd be a really good day.
That would be a really good time. Like just getting the floater suit on and just now, I don't want to go on it. If I cherry pick, I don't want to go on like a day where there's like 4 or 5 foot rollers. I just, right on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. I can't get the light to get it.
I know that guy too.
Yeah.
He just asked me the other day, tell me when you want to go. Send me a few dates.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Jim?
Yeah, that's it.
If I was to ask you the same question, where would you want to go and why?
I'd like to go fish with my buddy Gord Pizer.
There you go. That's awesome.
And I don't care if it was for a sunfish off the dock in Kenora.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have to spend some time with Gord. We're both getting old. We haven't been together for a long time to fish.
Yeah.
And I was just talking that Tammy asked me this very question the other day.
Wow.
And I think as you get older, you look around you at people that are getting older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, someday you might wake up and realize, hey, I'm never going to go fishing with him anymore. I just hope he saves me a seat.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing. And there's other people like I had Jesse mentioned to me about a month ago, when are you coming out again? Like that. It's He's young. He can go to the bottom of the list a little.
It's not.
Start getting worried about myself.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Jim? It's not what you fish for; it's who you're fishing with, right?
Amen.
Oh, that becomes so much truer as you get old. How old are you now, Jay?
I'm 50 now.
Yeah, you got a few more years. It's really gonna sink in.
Yeah.
It's really gonna sink in.
Yeah, I do agree. Like, look at me, man. I spend all my time being my son's cameraman, right? and I like it. Like I'm like, it's like I put time in. I'm like seeing his successes. That's great, man. And
He's
then
killing it.
But being able to fish with buddies who I haven't fished with for a long time, like that kind of stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I would have to say that I achieved that this June. It's been a long time, well, before COVID, that I was able to get together with my high school buddies, and we were able to get up to the French this June and enjoy some time together. And to your point, Jay, it really is, because it didn't matter what we were catching. We were just having.
I remember you telling me about this. We talked about it.
Yeah, just a hoot. Recalling some stories that, some of us had forgotten, some of us wanted to forget.
Do you have her phone number?
But you know what? It's so true, Jim. Getting together with buddies and spending a little bit of time on the water. There's no better way to pass the day. That is so true, so true. Well, lads, it is almost game time. And,
that's it.
I want to say first and foremost, thanks so much for joining us and spending some time tonight and answering some tough questions. Even though, Jay, they all came from you. I loved the second question was the best. I loved what is facing or what are the challenges facing freshwater anglers.
I got to talk about these before I go.
Oh my Lord, yes.
The challenge that Jim's facing is the lack, like the tangle of tackle in his garage. That's what Jim's facing.
So I've talked about these lures several times.
Yeah.
And this is them. In some of the illustrious days of my tournament career, I fished a lot of buzz baits and spinner baits. We fished them quickly, and it was our introduction to power fishing. And it was all my idea. I'll take 100% for it. But a couple of the things, some old Bill Norman buzz baits, you can see there's no paint on them, but they still work like a charm. And these were Stanley Vibrashaft spinner baits.
Jeez.
Very cool,
you
man.
can see them all. The skirts rotted off them all. They all fell. Even the plastic for the trailers. I was always that was a question we used to get a lot was, do you use a trailer hook? And I had a guy tell me one day, he says, well, I don't use a trailer hook until I miss a fish. And I said, well, why don't you put a trailer hook on in the morning and then you won't miss the fish? And he looked at me like he was embarrassed, and then he was looking in the box at every one of my spinner baits already had the trailer hook on it. And you put them on. Come on. You put them on so the trailer hook is free swinging.
Mm-hmm.
So the fish can't use it as a point of leverage. So you don't put that stuff over the eye and put it on, because then it gets kinked off to one side and won't move. Put them on while they're free swinging. Like that. Yeah, I thought it was really cool to find this stuff. Really, and as we mentioned about earlier too, I had a guy call me. I hadn't talked to him in a while. He said, I noticed you've been purging a lot of stuff and cleaning out your garage. You're not sick again, are you? I said, I'm sick of guys like you phoning me. I was we used to be really good. Well, we still are really good friends. But it was so funny, when you don't realize you're doing things.
Yes.
People sometimes read something into it that's not true,
100%.
I'm just trying to get rid of the junk and look at stuff. I found so much stuff.
Yeah, I
didn't know existed anymore. Stuff that I looked for 17 years, and I go and go,
Well, I hate to say this, but unfortunately, I believe even if it goes to Game 7, I don't think we are going to have a conflict again. This is the last.
This is it.
This
Game
is
7
it
will be
right
Game 7 will be Saturday night if it goes. So
there you go. Right on. Well, go Jays, go. Thanks to both of you for joining us, and we will see all three of you, including Lawrence, next Monday. In the meantime, go Jays,
get out and catch a fish, even if it's from the bank.
Perfect. Do it.
Absolutely.
Hey, when I was at Tight Lines on Friday, the guy that's on here, Fernando.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he came into Tight Lines. Yeah,
nice.
He's a really good guy. His son was playing hockey down there.
Guy.
Yeah,
100%.
He's a good guy. We were talking for I don't know, an hour.
Right on.
That's
He's
cool.
a gem. Absolute gem. All right, lads.
All right,
go
boys.
enjoy the game. Go, Jays, go.
Yeah.
Be safe.
You got a diamond, you got 9 men, got a hat and a bat, and that's not all. You got the bleachers, got 'em from spring till fall. You got a dog and a drink and the umpire's call. What do you want? Let's play ball. Is that a fly ball or is it a seagull coming in from the lake? Just to catch the game, it's the last inning. Our guys are winning. Dave's put down a smoker, a strike, and you got no doubt. What do you want? Let's play ball. Okay, Blue Jays, let's play ball. It's a beautiful evening, fans, at the ballpark. Game starts, warm summer breezes, sun's going down, it's all dark, the ballpark, that's okay, it's a night game. Okay, Blue Jays, let's play ball. Okay, Blue Jays, let's play ball. Bring on the White Sox, bring on the Bo Sox, bring on the Brewers, the Rangers, and the Yankees too. We'll beat the Indians, we'll beat the Tigers, we'll beat the A's so bad, gonna make Billy blue. What do you want? Let's play ball.